All right, so we were saying that the midterm is going to happen on Saturday. I need to update you about the time of the midterm. Please stop me at any time if I'm glitching. Now I have two apps open, so probably we will have an issue. The midterm timing has to be announced via Blackboard. I will let you know. It's going to be MCQ, so the issues that the students faced on Monday. One of the students was not happy because the midterm had a lot of data analysis. He actually was surprised because he doesn't know how to find the error on one measurement, the error on an average, the error on a calculated value, the error on the slope, how to do linear regression. He thought the physics lab is about physics only, and I need to tell you that he is a very good physics student. Please don't do his mistake. Please, you need to understand that physics lab is about data analysis and not about physics, you know, which means you have to expect a lot of questions that are related to data analysis and a lot of questions related to conceptual understanding of physics. So probably, I mean, I need to ask you about, I don't know, the electric field and how it behaves. Probably I can ask you about how the voltage and the current are proportional. So conceptual questions mean no values, no numerical values. And yet you will be given a lot of multiple choice questions where you need to find the slope using linear regression, where you have to find the average, where you have to find the RMS. So which means you need scratch paper. So you need scratch paper on you. You need a calculator. You need Excel probably, because a lot of students would love to do the work on Excel to find the linear regression. What else I can ask you in a multiple choice question? You will not need camera on, no need for cameras on, which means I'm not gonna proctor you, and I will make sure all the questions cannot be Googleable. So you cannot Google the questions. There are questions where you need to do analysis. Hala, you need to understand that we are 3 instructors, and I'm gonna write, and probably more than 3 instructors. I'm gonna write probably 1/3 or 1/4 of the exam, which means probably, I know my questions are not Googleable, but I can check for the other questions as well. Anyway, you can cheat, and this is beyond our control. We need to trust you. Okay, and we will be giving you a very strict time. We're gonna scramble the questions and the answers, and probably you're not gonna solve it all, which means probably we're gonna give you 20 problems and you're gonna solve only the first 10. I'm gonna update you later with the number of questions you have and the time you have. For my Physics 111 students, they had 10 questions to be done in 20 minutes. It was okay, but not too okay. Like, nobody complained about the timing, but I know half the class made it up to question 9 and not more, you see? So be careful with the timing, be ready to know how to do all the work. Don't study during the exam, all right? You can definitely open your book, open YouTube and see how to do RMS, but you don't have the time to study during the exam. Do you understand my point? Anyway, I'm gonna update you more one day before the midterm through an announcement, how to get ready and when does it start, how long is it, so for you to be ready, okay? Any question related to the midterm? Please ask. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, but be careful. If I ask you to solve only the first 10 questions, if you jump a lot in the backtracking, you will lose track of which questions you're doing, okay? But backtracking is healthy for you because sometimes you would want to come back to a question you already did, okay? Other questions? Is the exam all at once or divided? Ratib, I will be back to you. Yes, Antonio, was it your question? No, Joe. Yes, Joe. Who was asking? Yes. Yes, Joe, go ahead. Yes. Yeah, number of significant figures, yes. Also in the division, the least number of significant figures. Plus and minus, you take the least number of decimals. All right. And if you have the error on the final measurement, you'd rather follow the error. The error will tell you how many decimals to keep. That's important. Let me give you an example. So probably you have F equals to MA. Exactly. If you don't have the error, you follow the sig fig rule. All right. But if you do have the error will tell you more about how precise your number should be. Ratib, is the exam all at once or divided? No, all Physics 201 students are going to have their exam at the same time, and it's going to be strictly timed, which means you start, let's say, at time 4 p.m. and you finish at 4:20, not 21. Like at 4:20, it's going to save and it's going to shut down. So we cannot give you an extension. I don't like this, because it makes me less flexible. But since you know now, it's better for you to know what to expect. Is the exam 1 hour? It has to be less than 1 hour, because Joe, in 1 hour, I can offer you 60 multiple choice. So far, I don't know how many multiple choices, probably 20. And 20 could be around 40 minutes. I don't know yet, but it has to be less than in 1 hour, okay? Usually it's less than 1 hour. It has to be less than 1 hour. Any other questions concerning the midterm? I want you please to read the notes on your lab reports. Let me show you where I am in the grading. This is Joe's work, and I'm gonna come back to it later. Let me exit and show you the grades. I'm a little bit behind. Okay. Because I couldn't do any correction this morning. I was planning to finish all of lab 3 and all of lab 4, which means I already did lab 3, lab 1, 2, 3 for half the class. Lab 4 I did not do to anyone, but lab 4 is actually fast. Lab 3 I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 students. I'm not planning to repeat those now, probably after the midterm, okay? And I saw this lab report. Probably I'm gonna do it for you, Hagab, because you need to see your mistakes, okay? Hagab, are you with us? Hagab, what's wrong with lab 3 and 4? 1 second, reset. Hagab, okay, please submit them because you need my feedback. Okay, same with Jeff. Jeff, are you with us? Jeff. I really need to talk to Jeff. Jeff is not here. Probably I need to talk to Antonio. You're doing lab 4, right? Is there a reason why, Antonio, you're not? Okay. All right. Even if you are a team, submit both. Like you have a copy, submit a copy. I will not correct it again. I will see both names and I'm gonna give you a grade. The same grade, the same comments. Okay? This is the only way for me. Okay, and Antonio, you two submit the same copy. Okay, otherwise I wouldn't be able to know who did not submit. Okay, probably it's the same case with Jeff. What about Mark Isa? Probably he dropped the course or something. Mark, are you with us? No? Okay, probably I asked you about him last time. And what about Michael Matar? He's not with us. Anyway, I can email those people and see what's wrong. Do we have to scan and submit anything after? Since it's MCQ, you just have to answer, click on ABCD, and that's it. Save, submit. All right? Which is better? I know you are well trained in scanning and in, not really in scanning, but at least submitting a file as PDF. Let's use those skills for the final exam. Now for the midterm, I wanted it to be fast. It's gonna be multiple choice. I'm a bit anxious and I want you to be a little bit careful because multiple choice is tricky and you lose a lot of points. So if it's like 20 questions, 1 out of 20 is a lot, you know? I hate this. Try to be super careful with your answers, okay? And let me hope that not all the questions are tricky. But MCQ is nice for you because you don't have to worry about scanning and you can get the grade directly. Okay? We'll see. Anyway, worst case scenario, we can raise the grade. Okay? Worst case scenario. Let's hope no issues will happen. All right. That's it. So please, for your lab reports, we can meet. Ask for a meeting if you have any questions. Please read the comments. I have very important comments for you. For example, discussing the list of sources. By the way, the sources of errors, I sent you a list. Please use it. Because some students don't know how to write the, so lab 5 questions. I will get back to you, Ratib. So some students don't know how to write the sources of errors yet. They're still saying that it's probably the measuring tool. So there's a way to write it. And please do not include mistakes. Calculation mistakes are not errors. They are something you can control. Rounding is not an error. We actually round to reduce the error and to make it more precise, because we don't have the right to keep those values, those digits that are not there for a reason. They are like fake information. So a mistake you do, something you forgot to do, this is not an error, it's a mistake. So I sent you already a list, read from it. A lot of students still don't know how to round the value if they have the error on it. Although I was so impressed by lab number 3, everybody knows how to do propagation of error. Everybody knows how to do the error on the slope. This is impressive. Can you please tell me how come you know this? Please tell me, how come you know this? How did you learn to do propagation of error properly? Speak up. Is somebody doing it for you? Are you watching the videos? How do you know how to do it? It's tough. Error on the slope is tough. How come all the class? But I know even if I tell you, it's still tough. I don't know what to say. I'm glad actually. And you guys are typing everything on, let me remove my earphones because I want to record your voices and I still don't know how to do it on WebEx. I know it sounds silly. I don't have the time to learn. We're just applying what you taught us. I'm glad because with other classes, I teach the same thing and they don't know how to do it. Probably you are serious people, you are smart people, or probably it doesn't take a lot. If you watch the video many times, you get, I know the time is very short. I know exactly how overwhelmed you are. What do you mean by short time, Joe? Is it the time for what exactly? Like you have a lot to do, or is it the timing to submit your lab report, or what is it exactly?
I mean in the exam, the reports, yes. We have time to do. We have all the day
to I know a lot of students have a problem with the time, and that's why we do a raise eventually, because if the exam is long, it will be long for everyone. Hopefully we can time it well and not make it long for you. I'm only impressed by the lab report. In the exam, you don't have to type using equation editor. You don't have, probably you have a propagation of error, but you will have a question or two, not all the questions, you know? Yeah. I know time is an issue. The only way to deal with time is to practice well. If you're doing those lab reports alone and you practiced well, I think practice makes you faster, you know?
Yes.
All right. We'll see. Now, someone has a question about lab 5, and this someone is Ratib. Ratib, speak up. Okay, B10. So probably I need to open lab 5. Is lab 5 related to, it should be here. Ya Allah, Jesse, Ya Allah, Jesse. Okay. I'm not organized in this folder. I'm not organized. All right, circuits and ball B10. Don't tell me the question about, there's a question I was supposed to remove and I did not. I think this question has to be canceled. The question is about dry cells. let me check. Yeah, please skip this question. This question is not difficult. It asks you to connect 2 dry cells in series and 2 dry cells in parallel and in opposition. And since I'm not using a dry cell, I'm using a power supply instead, we cannot do this question anymore. And I was planning to remove it, and for some reason I left it by mistake. But there is a section in the manual that I did remove related to the dry cell. So ما انتبهت امتى من المانيوال ما امتى من اللاب report, if you see what I mean. هلا I'm not very upset because I did not remove it. I know this pushed you to watch the video many times, and probably it pushed you to understand the experiment better. So please, Ratib, skip question 10. Many students already asked me through email and WhatsApp, and I already said to skip the question. Okay? Fine with you, Ratib? All right, any other questions concerning lab 5? I need a reminder. When is the deadline? Is it Thursday or tonight? Should we expand our answers or explain a lot? Concerning lab 5, try to discuss the brightness in terms of voltage and current, and try to explain why, you know, in series, in parallel, what happens to the current, how is it distributed, what happens to the voltage or the potential difference, how is it distributed. All this will actually help you to explain it, okay? It's not like explain it a lot, but explain it well. You cannot just say they are in series and therefore they have the same brightness or less brightness. Try to go back. Some explanations are in parentheses. Is it okay? What do you mean in parentheses? You can explain the way you want. Just remember, the lab report has to be an official paper, converted to PDF and eventually uploaded to someone who would want to read it. Like, it's a reference. It's not a homework. It's not a scratch paper. It's like an official paper. Just make it look good and readable. That's all. Keep the questions and the answers, and probably change the answers. You can change the font a bit to make it just readable. This is a question, this is an answer. Actually, I think you're doing great. Your class is doing great. No need to change anything, okay? When is the deadline for lab 5? I need a reminder. And it's gonna be a reminder for everyone. Do you know the deadline? You don't? Let me check for you. It's here. It doesn't matter, but it's good to know. Okay, lab 5. Change due date. Let me see the due date. You can check it through many ways.
Doctor, I think it's today.
It's November 3 today, yeah. And I'm not surprised because it's a very simple and quick lab. No data analysis required. Okay? All right, so my plan next is to start a new lab, and I'm ready to be flexible with the deadline, but I did not want to give you a day off today. I thought probably move on with the labs, and if you need more time to submit, I can give you more time, okay? I'm not ready to offer lab 6 for you. The recording of lab 6 is not well done. I want to repeat it. That's why I'm gonna offer lab 7 instead. Okay, so I'm gonna get back to lab 6 later on. Is that a confusion for you? Lab 7 is about RC circuits. It's a very easy lab. No data analysis required. I mean by data analysis, you're not supposed to do RMS, propagation of error, nothing. But definitely you need to analyze your data in terms of proportionality, in terms of the behavior of the different parameters. The lab is an introductory lab for RC circuits. So usually we give this lab for grade 11 level, 11 or 12. And some instructors don't like the lab because it's so simple. Personally, I like it because I believe it's great to be able to observe the charging of a capacitor using very simple tools. You know, so the physics involved is very introductory, and that's why some instructors are not happy with the lab, and it's gonna be changed for the next semester. Anyway, let me start by showing you the lab report probably, and a recording, and I have many answers are lookalike. Is it a problem? All right, Paul, for lab 5, you're asking about lab 5. You're totally right. Make sure you know the difference between the two questions. Probably the two questions are somehow not similar. If you believe the two questions are similar or the explanation is similar, it's okay. You don't have to repeat it. You can say it's the same explanation as the question above. All right? Okay, let me see. I have a PowerPoint ready for lab 6, not in this folder, in this folder.
Doctor?
Yes. Yes, go ahead, Ludovic.
Doctor?
Yes.
Will we be going to university this month or not?
It's
for
very
the lab?
difficult. It's very difficult due to many reasons, and the reasons are logistics. Okay, I tried and I promised to try my best, and it didn't work. Because the reason is we cannot receive more than 8 students in one lab, and it's very tough to go over all the procedure for you to go in, your name's on the gate, and you have to fill in a survey. We tried to create a plan for you to do many experiments at once. I'm not allowed to be close to you, less than 2 meters, and believe me, a lot of the connections I have to help you do them. So imagine you are in the lab, you don't know how to do the connections, and I cannot get closer than 2 meters. Okay, so I know I'm sad because I wanted to work. I wanted it to work for your class and for one other class. But personally, I realized eventually it's gonna be a waste of time for you and for me. You see? We also have a great supervisor, and I'm sure she can help us. And yet, I believe it's gonna be a waste of time for you and for me, especially that we're still gonna do the online. We're still gonna do the recording for you, and you're gonna do the lab reports anyway. So it's like adding more work to you. And now you're getting more stressed and compressed during November. You know, you still have 4 weeks for the end of the semester. So I don't see why we should be adding stuff to do. Although I believe personally it's a big fail for us. Okay, it's not like I'm proud of this, but I need to be realistic sometimes. Okay, I'm so sorry for this. All right, so this is not really a PowerPoint that is informative. Yes? Yes, Joe?
We have 4 weeks and for all the semester, or with the exams?
No, before the exams. That's why I'm in a hurry to do lab 7, even though I want to give you a break for the midterm. So probably extend your deadline. Okay?
The midterm is in 1 week, or?
Your midterm is this Saturday. That's for sure.
It's a final, I mean.
The final is gonna be around December, the first week of December. And the final is gonna be about lab 5 and above. So we're not gonna repeat lab 1, 2, 3, 4, which is good anyway. But lab 0 is always included. All right. Anyway,
yes.
You will like the RC circuit because I'm sure each and everyone in this class, they already know the RC well from high school, although I don't know what you guys covered in high school due to the online learning. Yes, I'm very happy to see most of everyone with us. This is not an informative PowerPoint. It's only scratch paper for us to add on it, you know. Let me move this a little bit to the side and let's see what you have in here. You have this circuit and you have the switch that can be on A or B. What happens if you turn the switch to A? If I take the switch and turn it to A, what do you think will happen? All right, let me summarize.
The capacitor will start to charge?
Yeah, so basically I forgot to give you a briefing. You have a resistor, you have a capacitor, you have a battery, and when the switch is on A, the battery will start charging the capacitor, okay? And can you tell me what happens when the switch go to B?
The capacitor discharge.
Yeah, I will
the capacitor acts like a battery.
We have the resistance.
Yeah, so the capacitor will start discharging itself inside the resistor. What does the resistor do when the resistor receives all the current? Does it send it back to the capacitor to charge it again?
No, it's like a form of dissipated energy.
All right, so the resistor will heat up and all the energy will go into the environment. Probably you can use the heat or you can simply disregard the heat. But it's very important to understand that all the electrical energy will go into thermal energy. This is the circuit where the switch is on A, and this is the circuit where the switch is on B. And you see the title, charging and discharging of the capacitor. Now here, they're discussing the charging curve. You see, you have a battery, and this is the best way to know that charging is happening. They show you Q as a function of time, and you can see the increase in the charge. It starts from 0 because it was originally empty. And you see it increases at the beginning. It's a fast increase. Then it is a slow increase, you know, until it hits a constant. Can you tell me something about this constant? How can we guess when it stops? When and where?
When the potential difference across the capacitor is the same as the potential difference across the grid.
Yes, so the potential difference across the capacitor cannot go beyond V. So whenever it reaches V, this is where I have equilibrium. So Q is C times V. So I can tell how much is Q max. All right. Can you tell me a little bit about the times? What's the time, the tau, and when do you believe it's gonna be fully charged, and so on and so forth? Do you know anything about that? That's a review from high school. Yeah, what about tau, Ratib? I'm sorry, Antonio, for your Wi-Fi problems. It's frustrating. Ask me, I've been frustrated since yesterday. All right, so tau is the time for it to go up to 63% of the maximum. If the maximum is 5, I need somebody to do 63% of 5. It's gonna be 3 point something. Please check for me. And if you check it out, this is tau. It's the time needed, which is 0.5 seconds. So you can also calculate
3.16.
3.16, yeah, very close to 3.2. You can
15.
also 15. Okay, let me see if I can insert a text box. I want to write that I have two methods to find tau. Tau is equal to R times C, or found graphically, and I mean by graphically, calculate the 63%.
We have the,
yeah,
the formula 1 minus exponential.
No need for the formula, although the formula will tell you the function, and you can use the formula, the exponential function, to find anything you want, but no need to. If you simply do tau equals R times C or find it graphically, that's enough for the lab. Okay, I'm gonna discuss the discharging later. It's very important to know that it will be fully charged after 5 tau. So for T is equal, so T is equal to 5 times tau. That's the full charge. Although we know that the full charge will never happen, you will reach 99.99%. It has an asymptotic behavior at the end. And you can see it in the lab. Sometimes it reaches the 100% and sometimes it reaches 99.99. So around 5 tau, you have a full charge, okay? Now for the current, at the beginning, the current is so high in the circuit and then it decreases to 0. You have 0 current whenever the capacitor is fully charged. It's like you're charging your laptop, and whenever it's fully charged, it will stop taking current in. As simple as that. Okay? So this is the discharge. I mean the charge. Now for the discharge, okay, I need to change the circuit. So I'm gonna discuss the discharging curve, which means I need a pen and I need to change a bit what I have in here. So I want a discharge. I need somebody to help me. What should I do to my circuit to make it a discharging circuit?
Remove the generator.
Remove the generator by cutting those wires. What else? Remove the battery, Anthony. Yes, what else?
Close the circuit.
Close the circuit. That's very important. You have to close it with a wire, because a lot of students will remove the battery, and you know the capacitor will leak out in the atmosphere, and you will think it's a discharge, but no, it's not a discharge unless you close the circuit, because you want the discharge to happen inside the resistor. How do you describe the Q versus time graph? It will not look like this. It will look a little bit different. A lot different, actually. Is it an exponential increase or an exponential decrease?
Exponential decrease.
Okay, so if the capacitor is initially fully charged, you start from this value and you move down like this. All right? At 37%, so where's tau? This one, this should be 37% of the maximum value. All right, what I'm doing is approximate. So if I calculate 37% of 5, probably it's not gonna be between 1 and 2. So tau here is the time needed to empty the capacitor down to 37%, or empty the thing 63%. So the emptying process is 63, the remaining is 37. So on the graph, you have to look for the 37% to be able to see tau, and it will be totally discharged after 5 taus. I need someone to discuss the current. Do you know any change in the current? How
decrease in the current? The current decrease.
Decreases to 0. So can I say I can keep this graph? Any modification to do?
No.
So the capacitor is emptying itself, right? So as it's getting empty, the current has to stop eventually. The only difference between the charge and the discharge, that the emptying of the current happens in the opposite direction. So if I discuss the charge, discharging was happening clockwise, the discharge is happening counterclockwise. And this is what I mean by counting clockwise. It's opposite, which means in physics, change in direction means change in sign. So I'm gonna draw the graph from the negative side, mirrored exactly the same. Okay, same values, but with a negative sign. Do you understand what I mean? That's for the current. We're gonna measure the voltage, and the voltage is proportional to Q. So you're gonna target graphs that will look like this: exponential increase and decrease for the charging and for the discharge. Please stop me if you have any question. This is an example of the charge and the discharge. It will show you tau. So tau is the time to reach 63% of the maximum voltage, and tau is the time down to 37% of the maximum voltage for the charging and the discharging. Here you have an example of different circuits. Can you tell me please in which case tau is bigger? Blue, red, or black case? So blue, red, or black. In which case tau is bigger?
The blue one, because the blue one, doctor.
So the blue one has the biggest tau or the smallest tau?
It has the biggest tau, since tau is equal to RC, and C is the blue one is bigger than.
How do you know that C for the blue
and the red one,
bigger?
Which is bigger than the black one. Therefore, the blue one.
I think it's the black one.
Because it's actually an untitled and a y-axis.
So Ludovic and Ryan, you don't agree. Ludovic, can you convince Ryan? Because you have different answers. And Anthony has a different answer. So Ludovic, state your idea clearly, and let me hear Ryan after you.
Doctor, it's lagging a lot.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for that. Probably Ryan, would you want to speak up? Explain why the black has a bigger tau? Am I lagging? Yeah.
Tau is related to the time.
Yes.
So if the black one, have a bigger time.
Why?
If we take a perpendicular distance of any point to the x-axis, it will have a larger time.
Okay, let me try it. So let's say 10 is the maximum voltage, 63%. Just a second, you guys, just a second. People, don't open the door. Yeah, Habibi, why did you open the door? I'm so sorry. You guys, I'm back. I'm not at home, and my kids opened the door to a stranger. They were acting so well, you know. Hello, can you hear me? Did I lose you? Yes. All right. So 10 is the maximum voltage, and the 63% is this. All right. So if I do this, and this is, I believe, what Ryan wanted us to do. If I do this, you see, this is the tau for the blue, this is the tau for the red, and this is the tau for the black. So the black has the biggest tau. You can read it here on the time axis. This is to explain the thing graphically and mathematically. But if you can simply say the blue reaches the maximum so fast, and the black takes a lot of time to reach the maximum, you know, so you can tell that blue is fast, meaning blue takes less time. And this is what was confusing for Ludovic. So Ludovic, I totally understand why you were confused. Probably you wanted to say the blue is faster. Faster means more time, less time, you know, and that was the confusion. By the way, I was hiding the taus, and you see tau for the black one is the biggest. I feel so bad for not opening the door now. They opened it and I closed it. That was really not nice. You don't have to be sorry, Ludovic. You just made us learn something important. All right, now this is a picture from the video. Yeah. Let me know if you cannot hear me at any moment. This is a picture from the video. It shows you a bit that I'm using a capacitor, the blue guy, a resistor, and a wire across my power supply. So it's a series connection. Let me remove the pen so you can see the cursor. So it's a series connection between the power supply, wire, capacitor, and resistor. The capacitor is microfarad, and the resistor is kilo ohms. I want big resistors because I want tau to be big enough, because I want the process to be slow to be able to be observable with the naked eye. The voltmeter is connected across the capacitor, so I can see the voltage across the capacitor increasing slowly. I know the maximum voltage, it's 2.9, you read it on the power supply. It's gonna be a constant throughout the experiment. I will not use a dry cell because I want to see a constant voltage. I use a stopwatch, very similar to your phone. Your phone has 2 decimals. If you use the stopwatch of your phone, your smartphone, this is very similar. So keep in mind when you do the experiment, expect 2 decimals in the time and work accordingly. And I'm gonna calculate what is 63% of the 2.9, and I wait for it and I time it, as simple as that. Now for the discharging circuit, I'm gonna remove the battery. You see the battery is not here, the power supply. You see I threw the wires on the table and I closed the circuit with a wire, and the discharge will happen. Very simple. I did not change the connections, just remove the battery and close the wire, the thing. But the problem is I want to start from maximum charge. So if you want, I can get those wires, connect them across the power supply directly to make it fully charged, and then get ready with my stopwatch. 1, 2, 3, remove those, and my partner will start timing the discharge. It's so pretty to see that this is discharging exponentially. How do you know it's exponential? You will see that it starts very fast at the beginning and slow at the end, and you're gonna time it. So the experiment is really nice because you can do it with a very simple voltmeter. We can do the same experiment using sensors on Data Studio and it will give you the graph directly, and we don't want that. Personally, I don't want that. I wanted you to see it slowly and to have a feeling of what is an exponential decrease. You will be asked to use capacitor 1, capacitor 2, with resistor 1, and then with resistor 2. So 4 different combinations, C1, CR1, C2R1, C1R2, C2R2. So you'll have different taus, you can compare them. Also, you will have to use 2 capacitors in parallel, so you just put them on top of each other, and 2 capacitors in series, you put them next to each other, and you know C equivalent will affect your tau. And this is a quick reminder on how to find C equivalent for a series connection and a parallel connection. And probably I can ask someone. Why not Celine? Is Celine here? I'm sure she's here. No? Other than Celine, because I corrected.
Yes, hi, doctor.
Hi, Celine. You showed me today a very pretty lab report. Thank you so much. That's why I remember your name. Your lab report was excellent. What was your grade? 99 or 100? Or it was
99, I think.
Yeah. Somebody took 100 today.
But it took a lot of time.
I know, obviously, this is one of the most difficult labs. The other labs are gonna be easier, I suppose. Anybody got 100 today, or wasn't it your class? No one got 100, so Celine got it. But basically, I'm not impressed with the 99, Celine. I'm impressed with 2 things. The way you delivered the lab report and the details in it. And I was impressed with the fact that I couldn't find any mistake but a very tiny one, you know? This is challenging. Yeah. So can you tell me, is that a series connection or parallel connection? Obviously, it is a series connection. And what about this one?
The other parallel.
Yeah, it's a parallel connection. So I know you know this. This is a quick reminder. And I believe it's applicable to tau. If you have the same resistance, tau is going to be tau 1 plus tau 2. And you can prove it using the different data given to you. You can measure tau for C1, tau for C2, and tau for the equivalent combination of parallel C1 and C2. And you're going to see it's going to be tau 1 plus tau 2. All right? Ali, lab 2. Yes, I'm correcting lab 3 today, Ali. So Ali and Ratib, I want you to see where I am, because you have all the right to see, and my job is to be transparent. And I'm sorry for being late. I told you I couldn't be online since yesterday. So for lab 3, I still have those students. So you see the students in yellow, these are not corrected. No, this is not your class. Bala. But I remember I had a lot of students. Do you think the names were flipped? No. Bala, the names were changed. Anyway, you can see your name. I was supposed to finish lab 4 and 3 today. But I think I'm gonna finish 3 and start with lab 4. Okay, I'm sorry for that. But you will definitely have lab 4 at least 2 days before the midterm. And please feel free to ask any question through email and ask for a meeting if needed, okay? So now let me show you quickly the lab report and quickly the video, because I know you can check the lab report later and the video later, okay? I'm gonna open all the manual because I have them together and all the lab reports. Give me 1 second. I think I can dismiss you by 6. I will try my best. So this is the lab report section. And this is the manual section. So again, we're doing lab 7. I'm sorry for the jump. Since it's introductory, so I'm not worried about the theoretical background. It will be a very good introductory session for the course. So now when you start RC circuits, did you start RC circuits, by the way? Yes? I need to know if you started the RC circuits. Please type it in the chat. I think you did not. Oh, yes, you did in the course. That's great. I wanted the lab to be an introduction to the course. Apparently, the course is moving faster than the lab. Yeah, so I'm opening the manual and the lab report. So in the manual, they just quickly remind you how the charging and the discharging process is happening. Some curves. This is V versus time. This is I versus time for the charging. And for the discharging, there's no graphs. They explain quickly. All right? All right. That's all in the manual. Now in the lab report, they explain how to do the connections. They want you to sketch the behavior of V as a function of time and V as a function of time for case A charging, case B discharging. Please watch the video well to understand if it's an increase or a decrease. Also from the video, try to check at least the maximum voltage and have an idea how much tau is. You can tell what is 5 tau and how long it will take for the thing to charge completely and discharge completely. So in the sketch, do it with a pencil, or you can simply insert a draw and do this, tag and tag. And please show, Ya Allah, what happened? Undo. Okay, show a bit, 1 or 2 values. What is the maximum in V, maximum in tau? All right, fill in the table. I will fill in the tables for you. And you're supposed to compare those. For you to know the error on the measurement, remember, is it a digital measuring tool or an analog measuring tool? If it's digital, you take the smallest subdivision. If it's analog, you do smallest subdivision divided by 2. Please, it's time. Do we have a physics exam on Tuesday? The midterm for the lab is gonna be on Saturday. Yes, I'm gonna update you. I think it's gonna be 3:30 or 4. But I'm gonna write it in an announcement to make it official. It is Saturday. It was Saturday since last week. Initially, I told you it's Friday, and then a lot of students couldn't make it. So November 7, yani in few days. For this session on Tuesday, Joe, can you please speak up? I don't want you to be confused. Please talk to me. Joe?
Doctor?
Yes, what's wrong? What's happening next Tuesday?
Yes, yes. We have the physics exam on Tuesday, but I don't know at what time. I think 1 hour before.
Yeah.
No, we talked
I
about
don't know.
Okay, don't worry about it.
عملناها على 7 بعتقد to avoid interference.
Okay. I'm very flexible. يعني بدكم نبلش قبل.
It's either 6 or 7.
Worst case فينا نلغي our session on Tuesday, بس بخاف ما نقعد نلحق. بس بدي أعطيكم 2 labs in 1 week. It's up to you. بعدين أشوفه، بعدين خبروني، وبعدين I can be very flexible with you. ما بدي أزعجكم، ما بدي أعملكم stress. Okay? بدكم نبلش 5:30 إذا بدكم. أنتوا بتخبروني بعدين. If on a personal level you have an issue, you're not happy, let me know. Okay? هلا فهمت عليك جو. Thank you for the clarification. And then they want you to find some tau وما بعرف شو compare with the theoretical value. يعني بتعملوا R times C and you compare. Alright, شو قصة الافريج؟ هون they want you to find T charging and T discharging يعني tau. They want you to find the average. This is not average. لأنه T of the charging بتعني شيء، T of the discharge بتعني شيء تاني. So قصدهم بaverage يعني find the mean or the median. يعني مثلا أنت you have a grade and the lab report أول واحد 40%، تاني واحد 60%. The median is 50. The median, the mean, not the average. Average is when you do exactly the same thing and you repeat many trials of the same exact measurement, you find the average, you know? So هون ما بيقصدوا average، قصدهم what is the mid value, because in the charging في errors وبالdischarge في غير errors. So by finding the mid value, it's the closest to the theoretical value. Okay? So don't do average or RMS وحركات، بس عملوا ها plus ها divided by 2 to find the median. هلا I'm gonna change probably the word average, but the word average in English it's easier to understand, that's why. But I can simply say the mean. Mean is more هيدا. How many significant figure after the decimal? Where exactly, Joe, are you talking? How many significant figure after the decimal? For tau or for the average?
In this table, tau. Tau,
okay,
yes.
Tau will be given to you. I want to measure tau, and I will be using the stopwatch shown in the video, and the stopwatch gives you 2 decimals. So expect something like 15.02 or 7.32, something like that.
And the average?
The average, just do it like those 2. So if you have, let's say, 3 sig figs, 3 sig figs, do 3 sig figs. I don't know. Don't make a big deal out of it because it's not a real average.
Doctor,
yeah.
You mean in the average we add them and we divide by 2?
Yes, exactly. Only this.
Okay.
All right. All right. How does the increase in the capacitance affect the charging and the discharging? شوف هون the capacitance كبرت. resistance constant. شو صار بالتاو؟ capacitance هون كبرت. resistance constant. شو صار بالتاو؟ All right. أكيد هلا ما تقولوا لي increase. You can say proportional. You can prove. Use your data to explain. All right. And then they ask you what happens when the increase in resistance. So try to go the extra mile. Don't say increase. Probably you want to say proportional. And how do you prove it's proportional? When C is multiplied by 3, tau is multiplied by 3, try to find a constant ratio. And then they ask you C1, C2 in series, what happens to tau? And C1, C2 in parallel, what happens to tau? Probably you want to discuss and compare with the theoretical value of tau, because you know the theoretical value, it's R times C equivalent. And then you list the sources of errors. Very easy lab. It's like only 2 pages. Okay, هيدي وهيدي وبس. Very easy. And I'm gonna discuss the deadline later. Probably give you until Wednesday or Thursday. I'm gonna do it Thursday, but if you can do it earlier, do it earlier. Don't wait for the deadline. And I'm not gonna tell you when the deadline is. You can click on the submit here and check the deadline, okay? Because I've been writing a lot of announcements. Sometimes I don't have to write them all. How do we get the final grade of the course? Does it include only the final or does it include the grade of all the lab reports? Very good question, Paul. Let me write it in here. It's gonna be for the lab. The lab is 25% of the grade, of the course grade, okay? I mean, the course is 75%, okay? So let me say the lab is 25%. Is 25%. What is in this 25%? In the 25%, you have, I'm gonna say 1/4 is gonna be the midterm. 1/4 is gonna be the final exam. And 1/2 is gonna be the lab reports. 1/2 of the 25%. So the lab reports are a lot. The midterm is only 1/4. 1/4 is not very little, but the lab reports are gonna help you. And all this is gonna be a 25% of the course. So let the lab be a push for you and not the opposite. So I expect you to get above 80 or 85 for the lab, not less. Haram. If you want to do the calculation, Ratib, why not? Why not, Ratib? Your calculation is not wrong. Did you do 1/4 of the 25? So that's it, yes. Yes, who was speaking up? Ali? Yeah.
I was asking, hypothetical الآن إذا أخذنا مثلا 0 على هالكورس وضلك أخذنا في 75 does it count as a pass؟
ما فيك تاخد 0 على اللاب ريبورت. أنا ما فيني خليك يعني.
لا for example عم بحكي إنه هذا يسافر.
ما فيك تاخد 0. لك ما فيك تاخد 0. ما فيك. ما بتزبط. فيك تاخد 0 قد ما بدك وبيطلع لك 75%، بس بدك فول جريد على الكورس يطلع لك 75. You see? The lab reports you have 10 or 9. I don't know how many, but I think between 9 and 10. On the syllabus you have 10. Sometimes we cannot do 10, and sometimes we cancel the lowest grade for you. So it depends on the semester. So between 9 and 10 lab reports. Okay, so Ali, أنت بس عم بتقول worst case scenario تطمن راسك. Yes.
لا أنا مش بقول هيك بس لأعرف
إيه. اوكي فهمت عليك تحسب علاماتك. Listen, جمعوا قد ما فيكم علامات من اللاب. So the purpose is of the lab is 1, to have fun, 2, to learn lab skills because you need it in other courses. You will have circuits 1 and 2 soon, and you will be very comfortable after the physics lab. 3, to understand a very important skills related to the course. يعني sometimes when you do some experiments, I hope so, you will understand the course better. 4 is to gather as many grades as you can. انت the course مثلا عم تجيب 80 ما عليه 87 أحلى, you know. يعني the lab was never supposed to be frustrating for you or something to lower your average. Usually the students, they cancel, they withdraw, they drop the course and not the lab. You see? And by the way, if any of you, and for some bad reason, would think to drop the course, don't stop the lab, because I can keep your grades for the next semester, okay? If you have a good average, you can keep it. So let's say by the end of November, you feel bad, overwhelmed, you cannot do the course anymore, you want to drop it, stay with the lab. حرام عملت 6-7 lab reports. Why? Repeat it. Finish the lab, get a good grade, and I'm gonna keep your grade and give it to your instructor next semester. You want that? We always do this. We can do it, okay? I hope nobody drops the course. But for some reason, if you do drop the course, I totally understand. Let me show you the video so fast. Just
Doctor.
Yes, Jesse, yes.
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
Someone have dropped the course of
Yes.
physics. What will happen? He will take the next semester.
Yeah, you can register the course again next semester. But you don't have to worry about the lab. You can still do it. I think Blackboard will not kick you out of the lab. I hope so. In the old days, we were not using Blackboard all the time. So you can simply come to the lab, do the experiment, and do the lab report. If for some reason the Blackboard will kick you out, لأنه you dropped, but I don't think so. You can see the names of the students. They're still here. I can, worst case scenario, email you the work. Okay, I want you to stay, all right? Because it's bad for you to start the lab and repeat it the next semester. It's easy, do it and finish from it. All right, so as you can see, I'm not planning to watch with you 11 minutes. I'm just gonna show you quickly the board. I'm explaining what's on the board. هون sorry مش مبينين الباور سبلاي لأنه my phone is not working on selfie mode. So I don't know what I'm recording. I'm showing you the capacitors and what's written on it. I'm gonna change the camera, the position of the camera for you to see the circuit. And this is the stopwatch. I'm explaining how to stop it. كانت منزوعة الستوبواتش علقت بس عاد مش الحال. This is the power supply. I already showed you 2 screenshots from the video. هون I'm showing you the connections slowly, how I was doing the connections. What I want you to see in the video is the increase in the voltage. هون I was setting a constant voltage around 3 volts to mimic the behavior of the battery. هون the voltmeter. I explained why I use the scale, why the connections are, and so on. وما بعرف إذا مبين the increase and the decrease. هون علقت stopwatch اتظبطت. All right. I showed you how I short-circuited the capacitor تيسفر and to start from 0. Then I remove the short circuit. ببلش يعمل charging up to the maximum value. You can see the charging a bit. في reflection on the screen. Okay. So, and then I disconnected and هلا السكرين بينت أحلى. You can see the discharge. ما شفتوا discharge. And I explained why I used the power supply for it to be fully charged as a start. وصار يعمل fully charge وعمل decrease. Let me play it to show you the decrease. You see it's decreasing. All right, so keep an eye on the voltmeter and check this out. 3 volts. Get ready. Definitely you need a partner to help you out. Get ready with your stopwatch. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. You remove the power supply and you start timing your circuit. Discharge. You see this? All right. I don't know, Paul, what you missed. We discussed a bit the percentage of the course and the lab and I've been watching this quickly with you. Anyway, I'm gonna send you the YouTube link for you to watch it slowly. Yes, and that's it. So I'm gonna share the results, the YouTube link, a copy of the PowerPoint. I'm not gonna share this because this is so small, so take a screenshot if you want. I'm gonna update you about the midterm anyway, and this is already in the syllabus. What else? And I'm gonna give you the lab report to fill in, okay? And hopefully I can, yes, you missed the video. It's okay, Paul, you can watch it again later on. And definitely I'm gonna, yeah, so probably save this. I'm gonna save it as, and that's it. Let me know if you have any question, and please make sure to meet with me during this week if you have any issues. Okay? Enjoy your day.
Doctor.
All right. Yes. Any questions?
On Saturday, we will open WebEx.
On Saturday, you will be required to open WebEx. I will be on WebEx just in case you have emergency questions. But you will not need to put your camera on, and you don't need to be unmuted. So it's only in case you have any question. So I don't need you. You need me. Okay? I'm gonna be on WhatsApp as well, but WebEx is much better. You see?
So we will work on Blackboard.
Yeah, the exam is gonna be on Blackboard. You will sign in on time. There's a password for it. I'm gonna give you the password 1 minute before the exam. I heard from a student that he couldn't do the exam on a tablet. It needed a laptop. So don't do it on your phone or on a tablet. Use your laptop. And let me know if you have any issue with this. And that's it.
Doctor, سؤال.
Yes.
In the previous lab, you said we should not send pictures. We should put pictures in the Word document.
Yes, you're supposed to insert the pictures in the document. For the midterm, this is not needed. What is exactly your question?
In lab 3, like before you start, I sent last year. Is that guided to it? This time I inserted in the Word document.
Yeah, I cannot hear you, Ali.
I'll type.
So in lab 3, you had an issue. You want me to open lab 3 for you? Yeah. The time of my MCQ, that's another question, is independent of the time of the free questions. We don't have free questions, it's all MCQ. All right, don't worry about it, Ali. I'm gonna correct your lab 3 anyway. I'm gonna write a comment and please put them in one file, and I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it, okay? Joe, can you please speak up to see exactly what you need? No, don't resubmit, Ali. It's a lot of work for you. So, listen, Ali, if you can resubmit and it's not a big deal, resubmit. It's better. But if it's a big deal, I want you to focus on your studies now, okay? So if you can do it, Ali, do it. If you cannot, just, okay, ignore it, and I'm gonna, it's gonna be okay. Yes, Joe.
Doctor, the MCQ are the questions, or we have other questions than MCQ?
No, all the midterm is gonna be MCQ.
MCQ and on the paper, and we click on the answer?
Yes, so you don't need a paper. It's only a scratch paper in case you need a scratch paper. But you simply need to click the right answer. And, you know, and save next, you know? So you click.
Oh, so we don't need to scan or something like this?
No need to scan. I'm a little bit worried about the scanning and the time delay. That's why I thought MCQ is good for the first exam we have. Although, as I told you, MCQ is very tricky and probably you will have some time management issues. So please be careful with that. Okay?
Okay. 22 questions? Yes.
I don't know how many questions. We did not write the questions yet. But I know they should
Okay.
be below 1 hour, less than 1 hour. All
Thank you,
right.
doctor.
If you remember any question, you let me know, okay?
Yes, yes.
Why is it that the men are talking and the ladies are quiet? Why not Celine, Tiana? Yes, Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just checking my mistakes in lab 3.
Yes. I remember
in,
your lab
in
report.
the
Yes.
in the radius like بالأول.
I remember writing, and no, there's something wrong in it, right? Was it 9 centimeters?
The rounding, I guess. أنا كنت حطيتها 0.089, but I remember very well إنه I changed that لأنه قلتيلنا to round الدغري.
Okay, let me
to 0.09.
Let me show you what I mean. Mark Farah, مش هيك? Is that you, Mark Farah? Yes. You have 94. Impressive.
Yes.
94.
Thank you.
So I changed it also. Oh, okay. All right. So this is, okay, so my issue is the following. Let me type the error. The error is not wrong because it's 0.05 centimeters, right? Am I right? Yes. So it's 0.0005 meters. Am I right? So yes, times 10 to the negative 2, which means I have 4 decimals for the error. So your radius should be 4 decimals as well. So you're gonna write 0.0900 plus or minus something like that. هلا أنت قلت لي 89, which means you write 89 in here. Right? So anyway, أنا اللي صار معي بس شفتها in meters بطلت عم بفهم شو عم بقرا. So I thought R is wrong, and then I realized no, probably R is not the wrong guy, it's the error on R. You see it? Did I answer your question, Mark? Okay. Yes, so that's it. I'm gonna stop recording, but I'm